Hi everyone, this is Sabrina. Welcome back to my channel. I have two books to share for my October favorites. These are the two romance books that I really enjoyed, and I am going to make some simple pages to document these books. I have a ton of stamps laid out. You can kind of see them right below the reading journal. I found a kind of fireworks stamp from Ali Edwards, and I'm using that in 3 different spots. And for the spot in the middle of the book, like this, the spine, I just took it off of the ink pad and just kind of used my hand, and it worked well for the most part. So I'm just going to stamp those in 3 different spots, and then I will also stamp some phrases as well. The phrases that I picked for this book, Scandalized, is "This is a new favorite," "Love this book," and "Heck yes." The book is by Ivy Owens, and it is actually by Lauren from the duo Christina Lauren. So it was a fantastic book, very steamy. So if you are not into steamy, then you probably wouldn't like this book, because this book had some heat to it as far as the romance aspect. And the other book, Darling Venom, that had a lot of trigger warnings, I would say. There's death and there's some other things in there. So if that concerns you, then I wouldn't read that book. And so with both of these books, I was kind of concerned about, should I share them, should I not? But I truly loved these romances, so I am sharing them. I'm also going back through my reading journal and adding the book rating, because I realized I did not add it on so many pages. Why didn't you guys tell me? Somebody should have told me in the comments. Sabrina, you did not add the book rating. Oh my goodness. I should have seen that. I also, for next year, I want to add like what number the book was. So if the book was like book 82, I want to be able to add that in there. The Darling Venom has a lot to do with venom, and so I found a snake stamp, and I knew that that would be perfect. And that's one of the things that I have loved doing throughout this year, and pretty much always, ever since I started making reading journals, is finding stamps that can work, outside of their intended theme. So that snake stamp was from Halloween, but I am able to use it for this reading journal. I took a little sparkle and I went ahead and added that to both pages. That way there's a little bit of continuity, and same thing with using the same pink ink. I wanted them to have a little bit of the same. I also just stamped right below all like the cluster stamping and like the layered stamping, the mixed media stamping. I layered in "You're Okay," because Darling Venom is a romance, but it has a lot of layers to it as far as having the theme of death and grief. So there's a lot of that theme of just keep going and you're okay and it will all be okay. So I am cutting out the stamp phrases that I want. I have "keep going," the "heck yes," "love this book," and of course the snake. The "keep going" is a little tricky because it has all those like fun triangles on it, but I've almost got it, and then I will put it towards the top of the book cover and then adhere them down, and I can start on my reviews. Now, when I go to review Darling Venom, I'm going to do my best to be kind of vague and not give anything away, because basically the blurb is all you need really when you go to read this book. And, of course, knowing that there's some trigger warnings in this book as well. Okay, so I am going to start on my thoughts, and I said, wow, what a romance. I mean, this is a 720-page book, I think, and it's messy, complicated, full of grief, and it starts off with us meeting Kellan, I think that's how you say his name, on the roof with Charlotte. They both wanted to end it all, but they agreed to keep going and to check on each other each year. This goes on for several years. And then what happens next shocks me. I was not expecting it. And Kellan makes a choice, and Charlotte's life is forever changed. And there's a lot of grief that has to be dealt with. And what comes next is, stuff that I'm not going to spoil for you in case you decide to read this book. And I just wrote a little bit about, what comes next and how Charlotte, the main character, has to kind of wade through all that grief. And, there's a lot of angst and there's wonderful characters. There's also just an overall really beautiful story about how your loved ones just keep going and how you can choose to love despite all the horrible circumstances and despite maybe all the obstacles and grief that you may have for various reasons. Okay, quotes. I put, "She was broken, I was destroyed, this had disaster written all over it." And the second one is, "Love is just being there for someone. It's that simple." I mean, there's so many quotes I could have picked for this book, but those two I felt like were right to the point. And then I am now using a pink marker to highlight various phrases, like "full of grief," "keep going," "life is forever changed," and "book has everything." And then I just highlight a few phrases from the quote. Okay, so now I'm going to do my thoughts on Scandalized. Like I said, wow, it was a steamy romance. I loved it. I'd been reading a bunch of spooky books, so this was definitely a 180-degree turn. So we meet Gigi, who is flying back from her recent journalism assignment, and she runs into her childhood best friend's older brother, Alec, and they have an instant connection, and there's a whole mess with the hotels, so they wind up hanging out, and their chemistry is off the chart. And then they realize that Alec is kind of, I don't want to give it away, but Alec is hiding something and he has another identity. And so they have to kind of deal with that and figure out how to go forward with that. And there's also a deeper story or another level to the romance that kind of ties them together and makes it a deeper story, like I said, and it takes it to kind of the next level. And I really loved their romance and their instant connection and the steaminess. So good. So the quote I found was, "Life will throw you curveballs and things won't always be easy or straightforward, but this love, our love, is a rare wonder that comes once in a lifetime." So I really, really loved that quote. It was perfect, and it was just such a great book. Like, really quick dive into the book because, right away they've got the chemistry and there's some serious steamy stuff going on. I think I've said that a few times, but you are forewarned. So I've highlighted things in the blue ink, and I made sure to fill in my ratings because I've, like I said, been slacking on that. And then that's it. My book pages are done, and I hope you have enjoyed seeing these two books come together. I'd love a thumbs up or a subscribe if you are new to my channel. Have a great day. Bye.